Okay. All right. All right. All right. Uh, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Gman complained that I was going live and taking his audience, so let me just wait a little bit. Let me just wait a few hours. Do some other stuff. Drink some water. Ice. Let me wait a little bit and give folks time. Give him time to finish whatever the fuck he was doing with the other video I didn't watch. It wasn't the Yuri Miller one. It was another one. I think it was I watched a little bit of it. I think it has something to do with people not addressing his claims, and there's a few things I wanted to address concerning that. It's quite obvious that he doesn't actually know the goal of the Miller-Urey experiment. He keeps calling it the Miller experiment, or Miller and Urey are two different people. We're doing a Gman video, the one in the chat, well, the description, whatever. Fuck. Hold on. Put this over here. So should I, if I screen share this window, or nope, I can't. I just have to put that over here. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Let me screen share. Let me just do screen two. Okay, because I try to put my my thingy. Gman says my thingy. Try to put my window over here, but I can't screen share the same window that the Hangout's in. So before I even play this video, before I even get into it, this is, I guess, one of the renditions of the March of Progress. And I hate this depiction of evolution because this is not just not a linear progression. It doesn't look anything like this. We actually addressed, I remember specifically telling Gman that the March of what he thought with the March of Progress is not what any actual biology book teaches. Nothing like that. So I know I pointed to certain, like, because it was a tree and it had skulls on the graphic, and if you walk into the Museum of Natural History, it's on the right hand side as you press further in, and it has one of those 3D models of like a Neanderthal or something like that in the corner next to it. So I remember specifically showing Gman what the quote unquote progression actually looks like, but it's not this March of Progress looking shit here. That's not it. One of my biggest issues is that Gman doesn't actually go to scientific sources. I'm sorry, the Institute for Creation Research is not an educational fucking organization. You can say you Googled it, but when I'm looking at what he's like. If you actually look up here at the URL, you can see what he searched: human evolution from apes. Now, that in and of itself is fucked up. That's not correct. There is no human evolution from apes. So when he's searching the wrong things, he's going to get the wrong fucking answers. That's what I guess started this whole process of getting misinformation. So he should have just said human evolution and just stop. Full fucking stop right there. The fact that he went and picked out what's this here, the Creation Research or Institution for Creation Research, that's another cardinal sin. They are not a scientific organization. I am sorry, Gman. They don't have peer-reviewed papers for a reason. The people who work for them have their degrees, that have been submitted to peer review. Yes, but it has nothing to do with what they're, purporting here for this organization. So let's get that straight from the beginning. So already there's a few problems with what's happening here, and I feel a little bit frustrated. Well, not really, but I kind of knew this was going to happen. The stuff that he's talking about here, myself, Fiona, Redline, Hannah, hell, Vincent, all of us, we explained this to him when we were there, and I knew it wasn't going to sink in, but I'll be happy to reiterate. This is one of the things that I specifically remember talking to him about, specifically. So I've listened to this video once on the way home from class, just to kind of see what he said, but yeah, this is something that he has been told before, and you're going to hear him mention a few things, and I want people to pay attention to something, because I thought I heard him reverse his position in this video early on. He'll make a position about human origins, and then later on he'll change that position. So I just want to make sure that I'm not hearing this. So.
Let me make sure I'm live. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to GTV. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm not doing a sound test, but welcome to GTV, and I am Gman, your host. And today I'm going to ask a question. Now, for a lot of people that oppose evolution on whether it be here on the internet or in classrooms or anything like that, there's a common question that a lot of people who question evolution will ask. And when we ask this question, we're not asking it as a gotcha question. We're asking this question to learn and to understand why you believe this is true. Some people believe that the question is stupid and you should never be asking this question. But to be honest, an intelligent person would know questions that you're really not learning and you're not using any real critical thinking. So I'm going to use my critical thinking skills right now. And this is a chart here. When I went on Google to type in human evolution and how man evolved.
So, and I want to point this out again. He didn't just type in human evolution. He typed in human evolution from apes. He specifically typed in from apes afterwards to go toward a particular, I guess, direction with what he was trying to, put out here. We're going Rouge. So let me, if you guys are curious, I'll actually show you what happens if you type in human evolution into Google. Let me pull it up. Here we go. All right, when you type in human evolution to Google, this is what comes up. Of course, he's at images, so let's look. Okay, so like I said, I'm not a big fan of this March of Progress shit here. Like I'm not a big fan. Something like this is way more accurate, where it actually, let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay, this is way more. This is very, very similar to what we saw in the Museum of Natural History. You don't see, chimps down here and then like some kind of somewhat hominid creature here and somewhat hominid creature here. You saw and you see that some of them are on the same tier because some of them appear around the same time. Some of them are cousins, genetic cousins. So this is way more accurate than this March of Progress nonsense that we see going on here. I think this is actually the image or one of the images that he's using. But the one that he has, I want to say, let me go back to it. Yeah, it just has it's the same one. It just has a yellow background here for some reason. That's weird. Let me see if I can find that one. It's not the yellow background. Yeah. Yep, look at that. Where is it? So let me try to put in what Gman put in and find that actual image from apes. Okay, so this is the first image, and look at this, folks. Have we seen this before? This is from the other video he showed. This is a cladogram, and this is actually fairly accurate. This is not a progression. These are branches. These are branches. They're branching off. That's what that is. So he had to skip all this, and even this is better. Like this actually shows again. It shows him branching off. You had to skip that, and here's more March of Progress nonsense. Skip this, which again, this is better, and find something. I'm not sure why he chose. Look at that. This is the image that he found from the Creation Institute. That's so weird. Why would he skip these better illustrations, ones that we personally shown him? Again, better illustrations to find something from the Creation Institute. Just want to throw that out there. So anyway, let's continue.
Well, didn't necessarily evolve from a monkey, but
oh, hold on, wait, there it is. There.
White creature.
Okay, it didn't evolve from a monkey. You heard that, right? Let me play it again, just to make sure I'm not tripping. Just to make fucking sure.
Well, didn't necessarily evolve from a monkey, but a ape-like man evolved. Well, didn't necessarily evolve from a monkey, but a ape-like creature that eventually became a different ape-like creature, which became
okay. So he says around, what is that, 126, that we evolved from an ape-like creature. That's accurate. That is accurate. An ape-like creature. That's fine for all intents and purposes. Fine. So keep that in mind. He actually does acknowledge that we evolved commonly from a ape-like ancestor.
Became another ape-like creature, which became another ape-like creature, which became another ape-like creature, and another ape-like creature, and then became a man. I want you to observe what's here, though. What does this look like to you?
So what he's circling is a chimpanzee, and this, like I said, this March of Progress thing is a terrible illustration of what has actually happened. There was no little, chimpanzee running around and then all of a sudden it just got taller. That's not how any of this stuff works. This chimpanzee needs to actually be closer to human, because we at some point diverged. We're in the same category as far as hominids, but we are not we're not a progression of chimps. So this is one of the main reasons I don't like the March of Progress. This chimpanzee doesn't even need to be here. It needs to be in its own tier.
This is like a monkey or a chimp or something that we would see in the zoo, right? A monkey, a chimp, an orangutan, whatever, right? So
okay, monkeys are not orangutans. Just see this, and Jade actually points out one of the issues is that Gman uses these terms colloquially, and that's part of the issue. And I've seen now that he's latched on to calling anything, any correction he makes, just semantics, when we have these classifications for a reason. Monkeys are not apes. That's actually a very important distinction. New World monkeys are not Old World monkeys. We have that demarcation between them for a reason. So this is something I'm going to attempt to address. But if we're talking about the extant species of the current day, then we need to differentiate what we're talking about. An orangutan is not a monkey. So
already got the critics out there who's gonna say this does not look like an orangutan. Let me show you a picture of an orangutan. All right, I would say this looks more like a chimp or a monkey or something, right? Now, over a long period of time, with small changes over millions and millions of years, the theory of evolution is claiming that this is going to turn into this,
no,
and then this, and then this, and then this, and ultimately into a man. Now, these other species that this is evolving from have scientific names, like Homo erectus, and other names like that and whatnot, right? And the question that we always ask is this: if human beings evolved from monkeys, why?
Oh, you guys heard that, right? You guys, I could have sworn. I could have sworn he had acknowledged we evolved from an ape-like ancestor. So let me actually put this in the chat. well, my side chat. And so I said, what? It was 126, where he actually acknowledged that we have an ape-like ancestor.
Didn't necessarily evolve from a monkey, but a ape-like creature that.
Okay, so it's ape-like creature at around I'd say 130. So we go to, say, 250.
If human beings evolved from monkeys.
Whoa, and so I'm not tripping here. I didn't just imagine him saying this. So in the beginning, he acknowledges that we have an ape-like ancestor, but then when it gets to around 250, he says that we evolved from, what was that again?
And the question that we always ask is this: if human beings evolved from monkeys.
We did not evolve from monkeys. We are apes. We are great apes. So this is what I'm talking about. This is why that part of the reason why that question is stupid. People don't take the time to understand the difference between what folks refer to as a monkey and what we refer to as apes to know the difference. There's a completely different history as far as how New World monkeys and Old World monkeys diverge, and how what is considered great apes is included with like silverback gorillas and humans. Why are the things that we're looking at on the far right side of this March of Progress illustration considered a great ape? Why do we have these classifications? The shit that I hear coming out of Kent Hovind's mouth and the Creation Institute, they're using language that isn't very descriptive. They're using labels that aren't very descriptive. So if you want to usurp the labels and the classification that we have, then you have to show why your new labeling system of taxonomy or whatever is more informative than what we already have. Because if not, I'm not going to accept this, frankly, a straw man of what evolution actually is and what we know to be true as far as our lineage. So let me continue.
Why are there still monkeys in the world?
That's because Gman and every other creationist out there, there are still monkeys because we share a common ancestor. We did not come from monkeys. There was some point where our ape-like ancestors diverged, and eventually some of those individuals became great apes and some of them became the the New World monkeys that you seem to assume that we come from. That's the same reason why you have cousins. This is the same concept. They're cousins to us. We don't come from them. We share a common ancestor. Let's say great grandma ape-like creature. Great grandma ape-like creature gave birth to grandma ape-like creature. Grandma ape-like creature had a bunch of fucking kids. Some of those kids became New World monkeys. Some of them would eventually become great apes. That's how we're related, through grandma great fucking through grandma ape-like creature. Like if that is a better illustration, then fine, use that. That's well enough. But this shit here is not accurate. And I wish people would stop bringing up the March of Progress. And it's not helpful in trying to understand what's going on.
Right now, every evolutionist that's watching this is either face palming, laughing, mocking, talking about how stupid I am for asking this question. I'm going to say all of them because you got some people out there that actually teach and have a desire to want to educate other people about why this might be a bad question. Now, I personally do not believe it's a bad question. I believe it's a good question because if you look in our zoos, if you look in nature, you're going to see a whole lot of these. But what we don't see are these.
Okay, there's a reason. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7, let's say, creatures in this image. 2 of them are extant species. 5 of them are extinct species. That's probably why you only see some of them. That has to be stated. That has to be something that we really need to point out. This, what appears to be a chimpanzee, and this Homo sapien sapien here are extant species. This, and this are extinct. We have their bones, but they're not walking around for a reason. There's a box here? Yeah. Okay. It's a big box? Yeah. Okay, Daddy gonna come get the box in a few minutes, all right? All right. So that's basically, these five in the middle here are extinct. That's probably the most obvious reason why you don't see them walking around. Yes, he did see these at the museum, and yes, we explained to him the difference between extant and extinct species. I could have sworn, and we even showed him there were even bones of pantroglodytes. We did show this to him because these are all here. Everything that you see in this shitty March of Progress image was at the museum. People took the time to explain, but it didn't sink in. So, he can be upset by people call him names, but if he's not actually paying attention when people are explaining it to him, then I mean, what are people supposed to do at that point? It's obvious that he didn't pay attention. Like, because if he was curious, he knows how to call me or anybody else to get clarification. But he instead typed into Google human evolution from ape, which we didn't evolve from apes, we are apes. And this is leading him down some weird path to cause people to go, you know what? Do you really understand this topic? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it at all.
We don't see these intermediate species.
Because they're extinct.
And the evolutionists will try to pretend like they don't know that this is what we're talking about. You see, they say, well, it depends on environment, it depends on natural selection, and things like that and whatnot.
I'm not sure he's talking about with that.
But you need all this time. Well, apparently humans evolved from this.
No, not from that, G-Man. Again,
obviously it was intermediate species.
We don't come from monkeys.
Don't pretend like I didn't bring this up. Over time, this became this. Over time, through mutations and natural selection.
So these two right here, these two actually look like they're within the same species. If I numbered them, I guess 1 through 7, numbers 2 and 3 look like they could actually be a male and a female. No, two males from two very closely related species. The only difference that I see between, I guess, 3 and 4 is that you have some growth as far as a femur, and the torso seems to be a bit different, as well as the shape of the cranium. So I would say, yeah, these two are definitely distinct species, but these two look to be very closely related species. I mean, this may be a subspecies of this one. So that's very curious as to why these two resemble each other very strongly, other than the lower part of, I guess, the mandible here.
You got this, and the same thing caused this, and the same thing caused this, and the same thing caused this. Now, in my debate with Dragnut, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that we're supposed to see between this and this.
We can talk about it, and I'm going to explain to you why some things die and some things live.
Through these intermediate species, then we should see certain things.
So here's where I go. All right, G-Man doesn't actually understand scientific predictions. He's going based on what he wants to see and what he thinks is going to be the case. But if you're actually deferring to what risky prediction a theory is making, then I don't know, that whole KT boundary thing may come up at some point. You may want to look into that. I know Hogtie's mentioned it. It got beat to death a few years ago, where we were able to make some risky predictions that there are certain geological layers that if we find Homo sapien sapien bones in those layers, that will be an issue. There is a certain point where you stop even seeing mammals. So if we see any bunny rabbit, any human, we should see things like certain primitive annelids. And in a lot of cases, that's acceptable because of their particular lineage. So the predictions that he's talking about really don't make a lot of sense, because I think he's drawing upon what he thinks is the case, and he's not actually looked into any literature. He's not looked into any books. He's gone to the Institute for Creation Research, where they have a strong track record of not actually representing what's in academia, or see what's being taught, or hell, what's in any type of literature. So I'm at a loss as to how he's forming these predictions in the first place. But maybe he will explain that. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Science deals with observation, and science deals with evidence.
He's right.
And that evidence has to be present in order for us to believe that this.
Yes. So if we know something is an extinct species, like numbers 2 through 6 here, then we're going to expect to find their remains, which we kind of have their remains. That's how we have kind of what 2 through 6 look like. But the extant species 1 and 7 here, well, we're 7 and we still have 1 because we can still observe them in nature. We really don't need their remains. So that's the evidence portion of that. I mean, I'm not sure other than what observation is he referring to, other than we don't see them after a certain time period as far as the geological layers that I just mentioned. So what other than that, I'm not really sure what G-Man is referring to here.
These intermediate species became this. And no amount of semantics, word game, or word play is going to save them from having to deal with this.
See what I mean about his use of the word semantics? I don't think that he actually understands what that word means. And so I've seen him kind of refer to, quote unquote, semantics when he doesn't understand something and he's corrected on his use of even something as simple as genus and species. They're not the same thing. And so his response is, well, I don't understand that things that are in the same species have to be in the same genus, but things in the same genus don't have to be in the same species. His response would be instead, well, that's just semantics. Well, there is a reason why they're classified a particular way. You kind of can't leave your clade. That's a big no-no. And when we get into cladistics, eventually you're going to see him refer to his little line here. Well, that's just semantics, when he makes some of these really egregious errors.
So for those of you who are saying things like, if evolution is true, why are there still monkeys? Why are there still primates? Why are there still gorillas?
No. Hold on. The original question is, why are there still monkeys? That's the question. All of these are primates. All of these are mammals. Again, this is what I'm talking about, where G-Man's using these terms and he doesn't actually know what they mean. So if you want to stick to the claim, let's stick to the claim. Let's not throw a bunch of stuff in there to say, okay, well, G-Man, I see you've been reading a little bit, but if you don't know why we classify things as a primate, I wouldn't throw that in there. If you don't know why we classify things as mammals, if you don't know the 3 categories of mammals and why we fall in there, I would not mention that. And this is a tip for G-Man and for our upcoming debate. If you don't know what these terms are, if you don't know why we label these things, don't refer to it, because I'm going to call you on it every single time. Just saying, oh, well, that's just semantics, I am going to exploit the fuck out of that. I am overtly telling you now that if you are trying to refer to some of these categories as a part of your argument and you are getting them wrong, and I mean dead dog wrong, I'm going to call you on it. So please, before you start mentioning some of this stuff, at least try to learn about it. I'm not talking about being 100% accurate. I fuck up pan troglodyte and all kinds of shit too. If you don't want to get into genus and species specific names of stuff, then that's fine. But at least know, if you're talking about a primate, at least know what a primate is. If you're going to reference a monkey, New World or Old World, it's kind of helpful to know why we call things monkeys colloquially. What makes something a great ape? Why are we considered a great ape? Before you start asserting what we're not. So that's just my tip. I'm trying to throw him a bone.
There's still chimps. Why are there still orangutans? It's not a stupid question. Because what you're really saying is, if these are still here, then where are these intermediate forms? That's why they're looking for Bigfoot, guys. And they're never.
So the only people who are looking for Bigfoot are people called cryptozoologists. They exist in their own realm, and you won't find too many actual biologists looking for Bigfoot because they actually understand evolution. So, yeah, there were giant Sasquatch-like creatures that existed. That is actually true, and I've actually seen the remains of some, but they would not exist to this day. Bigfoot is a myth, and not sure what biology book Gman's reading, but I've not seen any one of them mention looking for a Bigfoot. So again, this kind of tells me that Gman doesn't actually understand evolution, which is a shock to literally no one, and that he's simply fabricating stuff and insisting that other people answer for things that he himself have come up with.
Never gonna find Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Because Bigfoot doesn't exist. My video will be called unscientific. People will laugh at my question. What I challenge the evolutionists to do is just to answer it.
Sure.
Back it up with science and not your own belief system. This has been GTV.
Okay, so part of the issue here, well, the main issue here is that the stuff that Gman is referring to or trying to refer to is unscientific. There's really no way to get around it. There is nothing in any book that I've ever read, and especially biology book, even the ones I still own now, that talk about the things that Gman's talking about, or at least reference anything that he's talking about. The March of Progress is shown still in some books as an example of what we are not. That's really the only times you'll see that. But generally, you'll see, charts like this showing how we had all a common ancestor in hominoidae. And why is it? Oh no, that's hominoidea. We all share that common ancestor, but then we branched off. That's why we have our extant species, bonobo, chimpanzee, human, gorilla, orangutan. We're all in the same tier here because we share this common ancestor up here. So it has nothing to do with your perception, it has nothing to do with your worldview. It's simply science. We have genetic evidence showing that we are indeed related to each of these, more so the chimpanzee, which I think is, I want to say pan-troglodyte. I think is chimpanzee, and bonobo is pan something else I forgot. Well, obviously it's pan because it's right here. So that's one of the issues here, is that Gman and a lot of other creationists really don't want to use phylogenetics. They like to reference it loosely, but then they like to try and make up their own stuff as they go along. I would love to know at some point in time what biology book Gman is pulling his information from. That's what I want to know. Please, Jade probably has the book. She has all the books. She has all the best books. So sorry, it's my Trumpism for the day. So let me know too, so I can look up whatever book that you are pulling this stuff from, Gman, because I'm genuinely curious. The stuff that you say is not in biology books that are being used to teach students. I am 100% positive on that. Absolutely sure. So let me know what these books are, what school uses these books, and who can I call to verify it, because it seems to me is that you're simply making this stuff up as you go along. So paniscus, okay, that's what they are. But again, check out like even this basic cladogram of apes and humans. Look at that, really simple, really simple. Last common ancestor, apes and humans. Look at that. How? Wow, we have a common ancestor of apes and humans. It didn't say common ancestor ape. It doesn't say that. So Guess what? We are apes. If you don't believe me, check this shit out. I'll even go to Wikipedia, of all things. If I can fucking spell. Let's check it out. What are we considered? Look at that. Animalia, chordata, mammalia, primates. Look at that. Look at that. We go to, oh, fuck, semiform. Oh, hominidae. Oh, homo. Look at that. Oh, shit. What the hell is this in here? The fuck is it? What's in here? Look at this. What is this? Whose members are known as great apes or hominids. Look at that shit. Wait, I just clicked on here. We're in the same family, so wait, we're considered great apes? Oh, do you mean we are great apes? Look at that. Look, remember I had mentioned extant species? Look at that shit. Cool, huh? I mean, this is the shit that I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So within our same family, we have chimpanzees, as you see here. Like I said, pan-troglodyte, the chimpanzee. Same until you get to genus. They're in pan, we're in homo. That's where we differ. So it would help Gman if you actually understood these classifications. It really would help you if you understood why this exists. Look up the history as to why this is a thing, why we're constantly looking at this to make sure that it fits what we see in reality. Look up genetic evidence, phylogenetics. It's kind of in the name, genetics. Really helpful in figuring this stuff out. So on that note, I am going to go ahead and get off here. I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching. See you.